COVID-19 patients were found on April 24th. Vietnam bans cyber attack behaviors in any form. Domestic airfares reduced sharply in April and May 2020. Hello, it's Đăng again. Welcome to FBNC News with updates from Vietnam. On April 24th, 2 new COVID-19 patients were found. They are students returned from Japan just 2 days ago. Thus, up to now, Vietnam has totally 270 infected patients, with 225 people have fully recovered and 45 others are still being treated at health centers across the country, mostly in Hanoi. Vietnam strictly bans all cyber attacks against organizations and individuals in any form, said the Foreign Ministry's Deputy Spokesman Ngo Toàn Thắng at the Ministry's regular press conference on April 23rd.
Responding to the reporters' queries about the U.S. cybersecurity firm FireEye's statement that Vietnam assisted the APT-32 hacker group in conducting cyber attacks targeting international government units and businesses, Foreign Ministry's Deputy Spokesman Ngo Toàn Thắng said cyber attacks and security threats should be strictly condemned and punished in line with law. He added that the Vietnamese National Assembly has ratified law on cybersecurity and is completing legal documents to prevent cyber attack behaviors. He affirmed that Vietnam is ready to partner with the international community to combat cyber attack behaviors in any form.
The Vietnam Railways on April 23rd said it will resume the operation of some local trains on the occasion of the National Liberation Days and Labor Day, following the decision to ease social distancing by the government.
Trains will be reoperated on Hanoi-Hải Phòng and Hanoi-Yên Bái routes from the 24th of April. Meanwhile, those of the Ho Chi Minh City Da Nang and Ho Chi Minh City Nha Trang routes will resume operation from the 25th of April and 29th of April respectively. Earlier, the operation of another train on the Hanoi-Ho Chi Minh City route was resumed on the 23rd of April, raising the total to 3 trips every day. Also, from the 23rd of April, the Vietnam Railways started to conduct 1 trip a day on the Hanoi-Vung route with ticket discounts of 10 to 30%.
The Department of Transport of Ho Chi Minh City has just issued an urgent document on the plan to organize transportation activities in the city from the evening of April 23rd.
Accordingly, transport activities by taxis and technology vehicles will be deployed normally. The subsidized bus system will announce routes that will resume operation after May 3rd. Non-subsidized and adjoining intercity buses are resumed under the plan announced by the Public Transport Management Center, which has been approved by the relevant transport department of the adjacent province.
Right after the social isolation was lifted in most of the cities in Vietnam, the airlines simultaneously announced to increase domestic routes and sharply reducing fares.
Specifically, the fare for the entire domestic network from now to the end of the year of Vietjet Air is only 9,000 VND, excluding taxes and fees. A maximum of 3.5 million tickets are expected to be launched by this airline. Similarly, for the departure period between May and October, Bamboo Airways sells tickets from 99,000 dongs. Meanwhile, Vietnam Airlines fares departing from late April from just over 600,000 dong each way for most domestic journeys. With the new preferential programs from airlines, the price of domestic air tickets has dropped sharply compared to the first half of April. Further to that, airfares are even much cheaper in May. In the recent announcement of the Ministry of Transport, airlines are allowed to operate a maximum of 20 round-trip flights per day on Hanoi-Ho Chi Minh City route, 6 flights on routes between Hanoi-Da Nang and Ho Chi Minh City-Da Nang. The Ministry of Transport also requires airlines to check body temperatures of passengers on all flights. Passengers must wear masks at all times during the flight.
Industrial zones in the southern province of Ria-Vung attracted a total investment capital of more than $450 million in the first quarter of this year,
in which $360.7 million came from 7 newly licensed projects. The industrial zones-based enterprises, especially those in textile and garment, footwear and bags, have encountered many difficulties as raw materials and accessories for production have been interrupted in major supplying countries such as China and the Republic of Korea due to the COVID-19 pandemic. About 52% of enterprises said they have been ensuring production with their stockpiled raw materials since the beginning of the year, but 6.8% of these enterprises will not have enough raw materials to fulfill export contracts in the following month, according to local authorities. In order to overcome the current difficulties, the firms called for the government supporting policies, including interest rate reductions, debt freezes, and lending limit extensions, as well as loan restructuring. Ria-Vung is now home to 15 industrial zones, covering a total area of more than 8,800 hectares.
Vietnam's fruit and vegetable exports to Thailand were over $50 million in the first quarter of 2020, shooting up 300% from the same period last year, according to the General Department of Vietnam Customs.
Total shipment to Thailand in the first quarter this year reached $1.39 billion, up 0.41% year-on-year. Apart from fruit and vegetables, some other commodities recorded solid growth, such as vehicles and spare parts, electronic products and components, other machinery, equipment and spare parts, and crude oil. In March alone, Vietnam sold over $554.22 million worth of goods to Thailand, rising 15.96% from the previous month.
The triathlon was set to be held on September 13 in Nha Trang City, the south-central province of Khánh Hòa. However, the third edition of the race has been cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Challenge Vietnam is the third triathlon to have suffered this fate, following the Taekwondo Ironman 70.3 in Da Nang and Trifecta Vietnam in Vung Tau City. The date change for Challenge Vietnam to March 14 next year makes 2021 a busy year for triathletes. After the Nha Trang event in March, sport lovers can join the Trifecta in April and the Taekwondo Ironman in May.
And that's all for today. I really appreciate your valuable time. We look forward to seeing you next week. Goodbye.